Hey guys, welcome to AfterBuzz TV. This is the after show for The Path, Season 1, Episode 4, called The Future. So join me and my co-host as we go over the episode. Stay tuned.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
How appropriate is this, right? Hey guys, welcome to AfterBuzz TV. This is the AfterBuzz TV after show for The Path on Hulu, Season 1, Episode 4, The Future. I'm your host, Susannah Kim. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Susanna_Kim. It's SUSANNAH, and my lovely co-host.
Hey guys, I'm Zoe Hewitt, and you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Zoe Said What. That's ZOE Said What. And to my left,
I'm Miaira Jennings, and you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Miaira Jennings.
Love it. So this is, once again, a white winter hymnal. I promised you guys we would do pentatonics this week, so that's what we have. It's a pretty good version.
Nice
I like
version,
it,
yes.
right? Mm-hmm. All right, so getting into the episode, what did you guys think? What did you think of Episode 4? Overall thoughts?
Oh, this was a good one.
it was good. In some ways, it was less intense than I felt like the other ones have been. I didn't sit there the whole time feeling anxious about what was coming next.
Yeah.
I think this one had a lot of information.
Yes.
But it wasn't, like Zoe said, it wasn't as intense, but it had a lot of meat in it.
Right. True. Yeah, we didn't get a lot of rage, moments like we did in the other episodes. Yeah, I feel like we learned a lot about Cal last time, but we really saw some colors of Cal this time.
Yes.
Like he is running the show, right? Doing it all.
Sure.
All right, so we open up with Sarah and Eddie. We see that, they're in their bedroom. They're kind of waiting to hear about Miranda, what's going on with her. She was knocked out or whatever. We weren't sure what was going on with her last time, but it turns out she was in the hospital. Sarah admits she unburdens to Eddie, and I love the way she uses it so casually in her conversation.
Right.
I love it.
Not like I have a really big confession.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
He's like, gonna unburden now.
I got you. I know what unburden means.
Yeah.
All right. And she's like, I lost my head. She basically apologizes.
Yeah.
And then, she gets a text or something that Bill and Felicia are coming.
Yeah.
So we find out who Bill and Felicia are later. But going back to Miranda, so we see that she's at the hospital, and she's kind of, to me, she seems kind of like dazed a little. Did you guys get that at all? She was like, I was surprised that she was so apologetic. She was like, I'm sorry. She was like, why is this happening to me?
Yeah,
Right?
I don't
Did you
know.
feel
That
that
was
way?
weird. I was wondering if Cal did something to her and made her all of a sudden just, I don't know. That whole situation was so weird because she was so gung-ho. No, I didn't do this. I'm not going to drink your juice.
Right.
Yeah.
She was
And then
pretty
all of a
normal
sudden,
just a day ago.
yeah. So I don't know. They must have made her drink the juice.
I think they did something. I think this is where that cult brainwashing comes in because something happened. I mean, she was confessing to things that never happened.
Yeah,
I mean, we get that later in the episode. They're like, unburden. And didn't you love that line? When thoughts become, what was it? When thoughts become thoughts or something?
Yeah, they overtake
Yeah,
the
oh,
thoughts.
yeah.
Oh,
that must be commandment number 7.
You can't lie. He's kind of convincing when he says that stuff, right?
I know.
That's the craziest part about it.
He does have the gift, right?
Yeah.
Well, it follows that that whole sort of cult-like thing also of The Secret, where it's if you believe in it enough, it'll come to you. I mean, that's what he's saying. You believe in it enough, you'll make it happen.
Yeah.
So just because maybe somewhere in her she really wanted to kiss him, it happened.
That's so weird.
The thought is worse than the thought,
Right? I mean, and so he basically ends up convincing her that she was guilty.
Yes.
What? I couldn't believe that.
Yeah.
And so I mean, she feels like she had an affair then at that point, right? It seems
I
like
think
she's pretty
so.
convinced of that. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
okay, so you were just told that you had an affair.
Basically.
Is that what happened?
And she apologizes.
She did, yeah.
I mean, she apologizes
That
to
is so
Sarah for
weird.
ruining her family.
Yes.
And, yeah.
But okay, so before she does that, she does tell Cal about Eddie's ayahuasca experience, his dream or whatever, his vision. So that was huge. I mean, she told Cal that Eddie, saw his brother, and then he basically was saying that there's no light, there's no
I
light.
was so nervous during
Me
that
too.
part.
Me
Like,
too.
no, don't tell him that.
And you could see Cal thinking too, he's gonna use that, and then of course he says, "Come with me, let me be your guide to number 7." Like nothing good can come of this. Yeah, right. Nothing good is coming.
And we see Cal go back to Sarah and Eddie, and he's talking to them. He's telling them, "Oh, Miranda unburdened.
Yeah.
She, said everything that happened in Peru." I love it. He was like, "What?" He used transgress for another like terminology. So was that like home base? I don't know. Is that like did they? What does for mean? Was that like a level of the
It
affair?
must be. Yeah. Which sounds
levels,
bad.
Speaking of levels, I wrote down the rungs.
Yeah,
me too. Yeah, go for it.
Okay.
You share.
So I have Cal is 10R.
Yes, which is currently the top.
Yep.
Yeah.
Eddie is 6R.
Yeah.
And he's
Yes.
going to work
Yes.
on 7. And then Sarah is 8R.
8R, right?
Yes.
Okay.
When they did
So
that
we're
in the
good to
episode,
go.
I was like, oh, the writers must watch our
Yeah,
show.
they're like, oh man, we gotta mention it so they know.
I was like, man, the writers just heard us and they're like, okay, you want to know? I'll tell you right now.
Too bad they probably shot all of these like a year ago.
But
They knew what we would say.
Right,
They
right.
knew it.
Right,
Which
right.
also means if 10 is the top officially, then we were correct last week when we surmised that they would go up to 13
Yeah.
Yes.
because he's writing 3 more.
Very
So 13
true.
is the
Got
top.
it, yeah.
Very
Got
So
it.
true.
go us. I feel like high five.
We're figuring out the cult or whatever. And
Yes.
speaking of cults, Zoe, do you want to
Yeah.
give a little disclaimer?
Sure, real disclaimer. We do always read your comments and we do comment back. And we had a comment this week on our video saying, why do all of us sort of cringe when we say cult? And the reason, which we didn't realize, we chatted about it, we didn't realize we were cringing. But the reason is because we were waiting for someone to call us out on the fact that it's not a cult, it's a
Yeah.
movement. So here we are trying to be so PC and like, oh, we're saying the wrong thing. And now we're being called out on, why aren't you actually just calling it a cult? So for you who commented, for all of you who are wondering, we will call it a cult. We won't cringe. And hey, if anyone doesn't like it, so be it.
Yeah. So if you don't like it, if you hear cult, just hear movement. If you just change it. Whatever floats your boat. Okay, so going back to Cal talking to Sarah and Eddie. In that moment, it kind of seemed like a quick second when he was like, she told me everything. He was kind of looking at
He was
Eddie.
nervous,
Did
yeah.
you feel that maybe Eddie kind of got that he knows? Do you think Eddie knows that he knows that he knows that he knows?
I think he's nervous about something.
Okay. And I wasn't sure. It kind of seemed maybe like Eddie knew that Cal knew that Eddie had that vision. Did you get that at
See,
all,
and I
or-
felt the opposite. I felt like he was looking at Sarah more than
really?
Eddie because I felt like he was telling her, don't worry,
guy.
it's all set. You know, like, I don't know. Like, I felt
Yeah.
like because he likes Sarah, and I think he still likes Sarah, that he was
true.
talking to her, and like, Eddie, you know, you just happen to be here. I have to
point.
put up with you.
Right.
So I actually thought almost the opposite. And I don't know if Eddie knows that Cal knows. I mean, now we're
I
getting
think
into this
he
big
was
circle.
alluding to
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
I think
yeah.
he was kind of like hinting, but that's just
Yeah.
me. I think I was on your wavelength.
Right, yeah. Because and then later he, approaches Eddie, like you said, like about going into 7R. So I don't know if that was like their like underlying. Eddie's like, oh, this guy knows.
I think
he's
so,
he's
but we'll
suspicious or
see.
something. Yeah, I guess we'll see. But we do see Eddie go back to the hospital to look for Miranda.
Yeah.
She ain't there.
No.
Right?
And weird, right? Like she's just whisked away yet
Okay,
again.
I initially thought she ran away.
I know.
I'm just gonna say that. I thought she ran away because she was like, oh, these people are gonna like force me to do some stuff. I need to get out of here like Allison did, but
A small part
I
of me
thought
thought that
she
they just
was-
killed
you thought
her.
they killed her?
Did anyone
I was
think-
wondering, like,
okay,
what happened to
I
her?
honestly thought she ran away.
I didn't think she ran. I didn't necessarily think maybe 100% they killed her,
Right.
but I felt like
was
nothing
not
good
safe.
is happening
Right.
here.
Although we didn't totally get a final answer on where she was in between, right? Her missing.
Well,
and
I
her
think she was
leaving.
at Cal's.
Yeah, I think she was
at
at his
Cal's.
house.
Okay,
in
okay,
that
okay, that's where she
cabin.
was.
Yeah.
At the cabin.
Or
You're
in
right,
that
right.
office. I guess it's not
Whatever
really
that
established
was.
if that's his office home or home office. Or like, yeah.
Okay, so we see that.
But then, like, what did they say to her also that now she's going off with Bill and Felicia? Like,
Dude.
Oh,
what
yeah.
are they saying
Something.
to her?
I don't know if it was electroshock therapy or what.
Right.
Like, they did something.
They
'Cause
did
there's just
something.
no way you just go from denying everything to just like,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
I did it.
And the actress, she does a great job because
yeah.
she seems sort of like brainwashed. Like before in the last episode, she
Yes.
seemed normal. I was like, that's my girl. Like,
Yes.
right? She's where I am.
Yeah.
But now she's like kind of like dazed. I
Yes.
love it. She's playing that really well.
Yeah.
I like that. Okay, so then Eddie does tell Sarah that Cal mentioned, going into 7R or whatever. And they have that sweet little moment where they're by the lake and,
Yeah.
I don't know, I guess
like a normal relationship.
Yeah,
They're
and it was
playful.
really cute. Yeah,
That scene was so sweet.
Yeah.
Oh, I melted. I'm such a sucker.
Me too.
It's good.
Right? Especially having those two actors who I love. And I saw like in one of their interviews they said that they had like, you know, actor crushes on each other. So it's like, oh, you can see that chemistry there.
That's so cute.
I like that. Yeah, I thought that was so cute. So do you guys think that they're like all good now?
I do. But wait, did you guys catch when Eddie first told her that Cal was going to be his like partner for 7R or whatever? Did you see that little?
She was kind of like,
what was that
right? Because she was
about?
like, oh, it's going to be Silas. Silas
Right,
is a
she
great
thought,
leader,
yeah.
and then he's like, no, it's going to be Cal, and she's like, what?
That's weird, right? I wonder if she's kind of
she's
questioning
probably-
Cal's intentions. I mean,
Yeah,
I don't know if
exactly.
she's at that level yet because she's so trusting of him, but
Right.
But I think she realizes there's this weird love triangle
Yeah,
going on.
yeah.
So I think that, especially if all of these levels involve unburdening to whoever your guide is. And she
Oh,
said, like, with
yeah.
Silas, right, she learned so much about him. So maybe she feels like
that's
Eddie
true.
will
Oh my
be telling
God.
Cal really personal things about their
Didn't even pick
relationship.
up on that.
I mean,
That's keen. I like that. Yeah. That's
and then she
true.
jumped on it and said that's great. But I mean, but you have to think it's great, right? If he's supposed to be your fearless leader,
Yeah.
I mean, you've got to think if you think he's the head of everything, then how can it not be great to
Yeah.
follow him?
But it's interesting because it seemed like Cal was calling Silas. So I wonder where Silas is on like the, you know what I mean?
And I think
Yeah.
we'll see him
as far as like
Yeah.
runs go and whatever.
Soon, yeah.
Because even later, Bill and Felicia, like at the very end, I'm kind of skipping, but the very end, Bill and Felicia are like, you're never gonna get Silas on board. So it seems like Silas might be above.
I think so.
I think he must. So they said that there were 6 people who were with Stephen Meyer when he found this ladder and ascended.
right. Like
So
when
I
they-
think Silas is one of them. So I think
those
these are the people. I think it's Bill and Felicia because obviously she had the burns. I think it's Sarah's 2 parents who were there. I think
Okay.
it's
Oh,
Silas,
yeah,
and which is
Silas.
why they said you won't get Silas on board, which is 5, which means either Stephen Meyer is number 6 or
Right, that makes sense.
Stephen is 7, and we don't know who number 6
that
is
makes
because they said specifically there were 6 people
yeah.
originally.
Right. Wow, you really
So-
broke that down.
yeah, it might be
quick.
6
That's good.
total.
So
Right,
6
right.
total
'Cause I
makes
think
more sense to
they
me. So I
included
think
Steven in the story, right?
Yeah.
Because
Right.
he's the one that got to go up or whatever.
right because they said there were originally 6 people. Now there are 6,000 people.
Right.
They made that comment. So I think Silas is one of the original 6, which is why he has to buy into
Yeah.
Okay.
into this.
Right. Okay, that totally makes sense. All right, so going back to Bill and Felicia, I mean, obviously Cal's manipulating them as well. They show up, and it seems like Bill's pretty happy with the place. He's like, this smells so clean. And then he said SD is already burning. San Diego's already burning. What did you guys
I don't know.
What did you guys get from that?
Like from
I wasn't
the
sure.
fires of hell.
Yeah, the marijuana.
Like it's so pure.
Like fires of hell.
Like it's
I
so
bet you're
pure
right.
there, but it's like burning from devilish activity and
Right.
I bet you're
Diego.
totally right. I
You
bet that's
know?
what it meant.
Something
I
like
think
that.
so. But
There's a
just-
forest fire.
Okay, so
I know. It's just real hot down there. It's just closer to the equator.
So what do you guys get from their vibe? Like I just felt like they're so into what they're saying. This whole time I'm looking for somebody who has doubt or like you can tell that they're making something up and they don't believe what they're saying, but they're completely
Believers.
convinced that the light exists, that Dr. Stevens found it. And
Right.
so I'm like, wow, these people are really convincing.
Right. I mean, they're the originators, so you
Yeah.
know. I mean, it would make sense that they're the most like into it. And it seems like they're the ones that are going out and did the original preaching. I love the moment where we see like the kids at the school and they're talking about Bill and Felicia like they're like celebrities or something. Like we're gonna get to
Yeah.
see your
That's cool,
hands and
yeah.
you know whatnot. So yeah, I totally agree. It seems like they're the big honchos.
Yeah.
Right?
But then when Cal talks about how the movement has paid for their house and their children and their
Yeah.
grandchildren, that also made me look at them differently. Then you get visions of those like evangelist preachers who go to jail constantly for stealing
Like
from their
buying jets and
congregation
stuff with like the money that's supposed to be going to the
Yeah,
church.
so I mean, clearly there's something going on with that too. Also, this is gonna sound so weird. I don't know if you guys saw this. Did you notice how thin Felicia's legs look? There were a couple of scenes, and I was like, I had to do a double take. I was like, does she have toothpicks under there? Like because her pants, there was just a gap. It was really just her ankles, and they were so like toothpicks. Like I was like, is this something they're gonna talk about later? Because it was so
Like she like
strange.
secretly like
Address those.
malnourished.
I did not know, you guys. Go back and watch the episode again. Look at her ankles.
I'm gonna have to go back and look for that.
I don't know. We'll see if that plays into the story. I hope so now, because if not, that's just weird. But
That's why I wanted to ask you guys, because I thought, okay, maybe you'll have some great explanation for what I didn't really see. Because to me, every time I saw them, I thought she had like toothpicks down there. And
I mean, she can't be malnourished. They said, like, you know, they have money
she's eating.
or whatnot.
Yeah,
She's
I mean, she
eating.
doesn't look malnourished anywhere else.
She's eating, yeah. You know,
and
it's an after effect of the burns, right? It's gotta be like connected. Just melted them right off. Okay.
And speaking of eating
me.
too, right? There was that really weird scene where Cal says he doesn't eat. He doesn't want people to see weakness, so he doesn't eat in front of everyone.
what a weirdo.
Right? This guy. God, get off your high horse.
Yeah.
Okay, what?
Yeah,
Okay, back to Bill and Felicia. So they showed up because it's Ascension Day there. So they're gonna, you know, celebrate the day that this all started apparently, and tell the story and whatnot.
Is this like Easter?
Yeah.
Okay.
I guess
I just
yeah,
think
like
of Easter.
I
No,
said,
everyone's
for the
excited
religion.
and they have events, and I'm like, Easter, okay.
They're gonna have an eye hunt. Everyone's gonna go looking for hidden eyes.
And did you notice their little pouches that they never explained that everyone was wearing too?
No.
Maybe they put their eyes in their pouches.
probably
Wait, did you guys
do.
really not notice? They all had little, like, woven
no,
Peruvian
you have
looking
such a good eye
pouches.
for
So that's what they
detail.
have instead of purses then, right? You said someone
Okay.
commented that no one has
What's
purses.
this?
But this is the only time
Yeah,
I've seen
nail
them, so I
bond.
thought it had to do with Ascension Day that they had these pouches.
Yeah.
I mean, they all had them
totally
around their
didn't
nose.
notice
Okay, I'm
Every
definitely
single
gonna look
one.
out for that.
That's where they
now
hold their
from
That
drugs.
and the toothpick.
Yeah.
And no offense to the actress, I'm sure it was just a really weird angle and how things were shot in
Right.
strange lighting,
Yeah.
which is why it caught my eye. I
Yeah.
mean, she's great. They're all wonderful.
So you were just waiting for it.
I was just wondering what was going on.
But yeah, you mentioned quick shout out to Nelmon 888, who's
Hey.
always
Yay.
tweeting us. Thank you. Thanks for watching. Thanks for participating with us.
Yes.
Yeah, always has great comments. But yeah, I mentioned that no one has purses in this place. And then we got into conversation right before we aired talking about how do these people make money? Right? Like, what do they do for a job? It seems like Eddie works there doing that, whatever that is,
Right.
spreading the word or whatever. Sarah seems to be living there.
Well,
they
she
have
counsels
houses.
people.
Exactly. They have
Yeah.
houses there. So where are they getting this money from? Is there like an
know.
offering that we're missing?
Must be.
There's
Right?
but they're also getting people who have no money, like Mary. Where would she? What would she have donated? So
Right.
it is interesting. Where is it coming from?
Right? And so, like,
Yeah.
what if you're at a certain level, you get like a certain amount of money?
You're right, because they have to pay for it. Because Sarah and Eddie don't live like on campus. They live off campus, it seems to me.
Do they?
Did you catch that? To me, it
No.
looks like
Oh,
they
well,
live in a town, like on a
That's
normal
right.
street. I
Because
don't
they
think
do
they're on
drive
campus.
often.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, right.
To and from their house.
Yeah, I don't think they're on campus.
So that's interesting.
That makes sense.
But
Yeah.
I don't really
And he goes
know.
to like a regular school and stuff.
yeah.
I mean, I don't know if that make a difference, but yeah. Interesting question. If anyone has any theories on
Where their money
where these guys get paid, you know, where can I make some money?
Yes.
I will join. Make my win up to 10R. If 10R is six figures, I'd be there. I will be there. Not a problem.
Yes.
Maybe that's why Sarah's encouraging Eddie to hurry up to 7R, because she's
Right.
like,
Yeah,
oh,
get
it's
that
7R.
raise.
I know,
Get a
right?
raise.
She's like, oh, I got paid more than you right now.
Got a lot of kids.
Right. Okay, so back to Ascension Day, we see Felicia. She gives her story about, you know, how it all happened, and then later we see them go back to the house, and she kind of, you know, tells a little bit more about the story. And it seems like they're coming from like a total hippie era, you know.
Definitely.
What do you guys think? What do you guys think of that? What do you think of the story? Is this something that actually happened? Is this something that made up? Did they have like some really bomb drugs that like caused, you know, she probably held the stove too long.
Right?
Crash
She was
stove while they're
baking
all just
cookies
like
and-
floating in that room. Oh, I can imagine. Because this happened in what? I think they said
The
78,
70s, I thought, yeah.
78. So,
Something like that.
I mean, who knows what they were doing?
Yeah, I think the burn came from something else. I do think they're believers. I don't think that
They
the six
totally
of them were
believe.
faking.
Yeah.
But I think that there's somewhere to the story. Like, I don't think a ladder miraculously appeared
Right.
and only Dr. Stephen Meyer was able to ascend it. I mean,
Yeah,
I
there's
draw the
more.
line somewhere.
Okay, so we'll see. But they say that they're there for Ascension Day, obviously, and also because they want to see this is where the garden is going to be. The garden when the future comes, which was the title of
future
the
is
title of the
coming,
episode.
wow.
Yeah. So just like every other religion, not to knock down any religions, but the future is coming
Yeah.
for everyone.
Some kind of
Something's always coming.
apocalypse.
Yeah,
Right.
something's always happening. And not to laugh, but
Well, yeah, Yeah, like Judgment Day.
Well, I guess the point of any religion is to tell you what's going to happen in the afterlife, since the idea is that we're going to die. They have to give you something to
But it
hold
seems
on
like
to.
what they're saying is that this is where the garden is going to be physically.
Yeah.
So it seems like they want to build like maybe like a compound or some sort of like place where people to go when this happens, right? Like when the
That's what I got
happens,
too, but
is what I got.
Maybe.
Because someone said, didn't someone say that, like, the garden will be here? They said something.
Yeah,
They
this
said
is where
something
the
about it
garden is
being
going to be.
here.
And something really, this is weird. I don't know if I mentioned this before. My parents are super religious.
Yeah.
They're actually in, like, a kind of, like, I guess a movement. It's like a...
Don't cringe!
Yeah, I know. No. It's like, I'm not going to use the C word, but it's not, like, sanctioned by the church. And I was raised Catholic or whatever.
Me too.
They are in a place, and there's a place, and it's in Ohio, and it's kind of like a compound. They have huge solar panels working, and they're getting ready for something. They have big barns, lots of, like, land, and
That's awesome.
it's really interesting. I'm
so interested. I'm like, you guys know. I'm like, wow.
But it's freaking fascinating
cool.
to me.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, regardless, like, it's not gonna hurt anyone that they're doing this. You know, if something does, I mean, something is probably gonna happen eventually. You know, so when natural disaster or something happens, it'll be nice to have.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not against it. You do you. But but it's interesting to think that this is actually happening. Like, you know, this is not far fetched at all in any way. You know, there are totally people that are getting ready for the future or whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay, so that's what they said that they're here for, but really it seemed like they're there to check up on Cal, right? And Cal was kind of suspicious of that. He said, I think he was talking to Silas maybe, where he was like, because they think I'm effing up, you know?
Yeah.
He was like, why do you think they're there? He was like, I think they're just checking on me. And they are.
They are. I mean, they're not. He's not paranoid because they even said to Eddie, "Great, we're gonna have someone on our side keeping an eye on Cal." So it's clear. Like they spelled it out for us in case we weren't sure. That's what was going on.
Yeah,
that's what's happening.
Exactly. Yeah. And then they eventually do confront Cal, and they're straight up like, you know, you're. What does he say? You got a little too big for your britches, right? They're like, calm down, little boy. Yeah. and Cal does admit to them that he wants to write the last 3 rungs, you know, and he's straight up like, it's gonna say that I'm the chosen son. Not that I got a message that I'm the chosen son. Like, at least try to play it off, right?
He's telling him straight up, like, this is what I'm saying.
Right? He's like, this isn't working. You know, your kids are gonna need something, so I'm just gonna make this up. Is that cool with you? It's gonna be cool. Like, he just tells them.
Well, it's interesting because part of this belief system, right, is that Dr. Stephen Meyer will never die. So, I mean, they even say that, oh, don't worry, he'll get better. He's not really dying. So they were a little bit in denial, and Cal says, like, no, like, he's dying. And it is amazing, though, that he admitted to them that he would be writing. I agree that he didn't just play it off. And,
because he could, I feel like he could have been like, oh, I got a message.
Yeah,
I'm
in
the
Peru,
chosen
I saw
son.
a sign. Yeah, something.
He won't even try.
Yeah. Especially because Sarah's on board with, I mean, Sarah doesn't know he's writing the last rungs, but Sarah's on board saying, like, oh, I know you were the chosen one.
Yeah.
So. Right. Although I feel like she's getting maybe a little suspicious, or...
I think she will grow a little more suspicious as the time passes, but right now I just feel like she's so blindly into it.
Yeah, into it.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I'm so sad for her. I mean, if she's happy, I guess it's good for her. All right, whatever. Okay, but he does I guess defend himself. He's like, I understand you guys knew Stephen longer, but I have the gift. And he does kind of back that up because he is able to convince people. He obviously convinces Miranda, you know, that she was in the wrong or whatnot. And they even brought up, like, Allison. So, I mean, these people are, like, very all-knowing. They're very aware of what's going on in the movement. Yeah. But, yeah, so, I mean, basically Cal convinces them. He's like, all right, well, if you're worried about Miranda, let me just show you what's going on here. Yeah. Takes them. They talk to Miranda, and she's like... Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm grateful for Cal. He's amazing.
Which is so weird too. Like, what did he do?
I can't wait to find out. I cannot wait.
Do you think we're gonna find out?
I hope so. That's just. I mean, if they leave it at that, that would not be right.
I don't know if we're gonna go back in time to see. I think we just have to take it that I think we might see other examples of things that he does, so we can surmise. Okay, this is probably what happened, but I don't think we're gonna get a flashback and see what he said to her.
Yeah,
I could be wrong.
I mean, do you guys think we're ever gonna see her again? I'm not even sure we're we're gonna see
I
Miranda
think she's
again.
gone.
She's gone, right?
I feel like she's gone.
I mean, she moved pretty far. That's
She's
right?
moving across the country. Yeah.
Yeah, so they said that they put her in charge of some other, area just to get her out
outreach
of
or
the.
something.
Yeah. I was like, wow, that's a strong way to take care of an affair, right? You just physically remove them. I mean, isn't that just as bad as what they're accusing Cal of? Like taking people away from
Well,
their
in theory,
homes?
it's her choice.
I guess,
I mean,
yeah.
she's saying
She's saying
it's
she
her
wants to go.
choice. Yeah.
All right, well,
And they're paying her, presumably. It's like a job transfer.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, really.
you're right.
Relocation.
It's like a transfer.
fee.
Like, you've got your Lakers shirt on.
So
It's
she got
like
promoted.
someone gets transferred to another
Yes.
team or traded.
Yeah,
She's being
that's it,
traded
yeah.
I see
to the
you.
San Diego team.
Okay, and another thing that Bill and Felicia actually mentioned to Cal was that he is trying to get rid of the medicine. And so
Yeah.
that's something that we saw that he was
Yeah.
reprimanding Sarah for. And this is actually maybe a part of why I think Sarah might be like kind of iffy about him,
Yeah.
because she was like, wait, you're trying to get rid of the medicine? This is like the building
Yeah.
blocks of our movement. And, he's pretty much worried about what the Ridges are going to think,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So it gets back to Freddie Ridge, played by Max Eric, who, by the way, we're going to have in studio
Yes.
April 27th, you
Yes.
guys.
So
Make
excited.
sure you can join us live. We have a live chat on YouTube, so if you guys can join us, please join our live chat. You can ask questions to Max. We'll be, there if someone's watching us. We'll be there to listen and tweet us, tweet whatever questions you have. You can hashtag ABTV The Path, and we'll definitely check those for you. Okay, but getting back to Freddie Ridge, he is introduced again. We were
Yeah.
we
We
were
were debating.
we were like, are we gonna see him again? And we do.
Yeah.
Again,
Briefly.
the writers are just right on that.
They
They're
know
like,
what we're
you're not
thinking."
sure? Yeah. Well, here he is, and then here he is in person on the 27th.
That's crazy.
So we see Sarah trying to I guess fix Freddie. He's in like the what is that?
I think like a
circle
group of them. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Some
they were
kind of
doing
outreach.
the electro
Like a
thing that we
training
saw Sarah
seminar
doing
type of
before.
thing, yeah.
She said that they were trying to stimulate our neo
Yeah.
self. More
Yeah.
terminology. I'm like, neo self.
Our
Right?
new self, I
That's
guess.
a footnote in the back of their
Yeah.
Bible. So we're gonna need to get that later.
Yes.
But we see him participating. Did you guys buy it when he was
I
apologizing?
totally bought it at first.
I did. I bought it.
I'm like, oh my gosh, this works.
Did I sign up?
I know. I thought, look, they're
I
showing us
totally
proof.
bought it.
And then how good was she that she saw through it?
Yeah.
Like she's good at her
She's
job.
good.
Yeah, she was
Because
like,
she said, no way, he's going to be
He's
back on the
lying.
street.
I
24
didn't
hours,
catch
she
that
said.
at all. Yeah, I totally
didn't get that.
catch that. Good on Max. I mean, I guess the character is a good actor, right?
Yeah, he had us
Man,
fooled.
he played it.
And he probably is a good actor because he was just nominated for his 4th Daytime Emmy, actually.
yeah, the
So
actor is a good
clearly,
actor, obviously.
His acting is clearly up to
the
par.
actor's a good actor, but
Yeah.
Freddie is a good actor too.
Yes. The character, I see what
Yeah.
you're saying. Yes.
So Freddie, I guess, basically Sarah's like, we want to use, what is it? A medicinal compound on
Yeah.
him. It's
Right.
dimethyl tripolamide, which is ayahuasca, which is what
A drug,
yeah,
basically.
a drug, yeah.
They wanna
which is
drug
what
him.
Eddie, I
Yeah.
think that's the same stuff that Eddie
Yeah.
had when he had his vision, right?
Right,
So
yeah.
Interesting if because it seems like she does eventually hunt him down at a crack house.
Who called her? I guess the mom
think the
called
mom.
her. And
Yeah.
how did the mom know he was at that crack house?
I'm
Did you
guessing
guys wonder
that's
about
where
that?
he usually goes.
Right, yeah.
Like, I'm just guessing he's
Right.
been...
I think there's like every local neighborhood
Yeah.
crack house.
Yeah, just the one in the corner. Everybody
right?
knows it.
I mean, they've got like the big, scary, like bouncer guy. I don't know what you call him, like a bouncer.
She just
So-
went right in there.
yeah,
she
wasn't
was
scared.
fearless.
That's pretty cool.
How did she know though? I was like, how does she know he's
right.
here?
She had the power of the light,
The eye
and she
guided
went
her.
exactly.
Yes.
She went and she found him
Yeah.
in that little dirty little crack house. You can say crack, right?
Yeah.
So she found him, and yeah, so she takes him back. We see him. We see her driving him back with his mom, and she's saying that they're gonna take him to Silas.
Yeah.
And I thought that was interesting because I wonder what that's gonna do to Cal, right? Because she's kind of going above Cal because
Yeah.
Cal didn't want him to go through this. I assume she's taking Freddie to Silas for ayahuasca,
Yeah.
to go
Yeah.
through
I think
this.
so too.
So I can't wait to see where that leads.
And
if
it's an
Cal
interesting
does that.
question. Is it above Cal or is it
Right.
around
Right, yeah,
Cal?
we don't know. We don't know
I mean,
yet.
if Cal is the
Next to
leader,
Right.
so
We'll
there's
find
no
out.
above, but it feels
maybe
like
Cal's just the leader of that neighborhood.
Yeah, maybe Silas
That
is
one
like the
town.
Cal to another community.
No,
Okay.
because I thought Cal is saying like he's in charge. all I can think is like Cal is maybe the CEO, but he has to answer to a board. So the others are like the board members, and they're trying to,
that's an interesting,
you know, say
analogy.
we're going to keep you on track. I don't know how much power they truly have, but they at least are trying to assert it. That's what I think.
Okay.
They're like the board members.
Yeah.
But she's definitely going around or above or every which way going to Silas. Yeah.
Sneaky.
Yeah.
All right, and then another person that Cal is manipulating, and this was weird, Mary.
Oh my gosh, this scene.
Okay, so first he comes in, he asks Mary to speak at Ascension Day. I was like, okay, cool, that's manipulative Cal. And then I can't even talk about it.
That was like, oh my god.
I mean, you guys don't know.
If you guys watched it, then you already know.
You know. So that happened.
Oh, and in case you didn't watch it, I guess we should specify. So he goes in, and Sarah says like she's been, you know, kissing the other guy that Cal recommended.
Mary's been saying.
Yes, I'm sorry. Yeah. So Mary said she's been kissing, and then Cal wants details.
Oh my God.
So Mary thinks he wants to sleep with her, so she starts like pulling down her shirt, and he's like, no.
He's like, I'm just gonna take care of this myself.
And did it take you guys a second to be sure? I was like,
No, I knew right off the bat. I think
Right?
there's
Like,
certain
okay,
movements
it took
and
me a
breathing
second,
patterns that
right?
you just can't miss.
I was just
First of all, I know, yeah.
I'm like, surely I'm imagining this because what?
Right? First of all, that was pretty quick. We were all there for it, right? That was in real time. They didn't skip. It wasn't a montage. That was real time. So first of all, that was quick. Yes. Second of all, selfish, right?
Yeah.
You're just gonna leave a girl hanging? She was like, oh.
That's weird. So can we just talk about this for a minute? Did he vow, like, take a celibacy vow
I don't
or what?
think so.
What's the deal with him not?
I think he wants the physical aspect of it because obviously a man has needs, but
Yeah.
he doesn't want to be with Mary in any way. But he knows that she's sort of like that's so terrible to say, but an easy answer, you know, like
an attractive.
sure
I think
fit.
he still
Not
wants
sure fit,
Sarah. So I think he
Yes.
doesn't want to touch anyone who isn't Sarah.
Yes.
So this way he got his jollies off.
Right. Right.
Without
But I mean, like,
touching someone who wasn't Sarah.
Okay.
and I know like they're
that's
very
scary.
conservative in their religion too, because we see like all the issues with like Hog and Ashley
Right,
and whatever.
that's true.
So I know that
yeah,
you
that's
know.
what I was thinking. Is he celibate or what? Like, is this a priest nun type situation?
I feel like he doesn't have to be. And because
Right, yeah, I
we
feel
think
like if it was
that
Sarah-
scene earlier with Mary where doesn't she give him a blowjob in the end?
totally.
So I mean he does touch her, or she touches
Right.
him rather.
And then,
Yes.
then he's like, nah, you're not up to my standards. You're probably more like Sean's level.
Yeah,
It's like a 1
that's
R,
just
not even.
weird to me. That is so weird.
The
I don't
whole-
know.
yeah.
The whole situation.
That
Yeah.
was
I mean, he's pretty much using her. She's not
Oh,
even
yeah.
on the rungs,
Right,
right? She's
yeah.
not even on her first rung, and he's like, you know, using her. Gross.
yeah, the whole
Gross,
thing.
yeah.
And yeah.
That was gross and selfish and gross.
It was, I feel
mean,
like it
give
was
a
even
girl-
more than gross. It was creepy
Yeah.
because he was taking advantage of her without
Totally.
touching
That's
her.
the
So
thing.
was
like
a
it would
whole
be
other
different if they
level.
just went ahead and like whatever, slept together and got it. But the
Exactly.
fact that just made it so much worse. I totally agree.
like a
with you.
psychological-
touch her
Yeah,
at
it's just
all.
so weird. I don't
She
know.
talked about it, and she was looking.
And she
like,
wanted it.
what?
Right.
She wanted
she
it,
was like,
but
I was
she
thinking
does
of you,
want it.
whatever. Okay, which leads to, we do see her in bed with Sean.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not like in bed, but they're like, you know, kind of laying down together.
And well, it turned into in
Right,
bed.
right, yeah. And he's like, you know, I will protect you.
Yeah.
I promise. And that kind of made me feel like, all right, something's going to happen there between Sean and Cal.
Yeah.
Right? For sure.
Oh,
Do you think?
that's interesting.
No? Do you think that at all?
Do you mean
I
there'll be
kinda
tension between them?
Yes, I totally think that somewhere along the line, Sean's going to see that Cal is taking advantage of Mary, right? Somehow. And because why else would he say that? He's like, I'm going to protect
Well,
you.
yeah, there was a lot of emphasis
obviously-
on that.
Right.
So.
And I mean, because I mean, she
I-
told her story also, you know, it's probably had to do with that
Yeah,
too.
I didn't
but,
get that it was protection from Cal.
Oh, not from Cal, but I think
Just, like,
eventually
in
that's
general,
gonna happen.
yeah.
I'm saying, I think that's why he said that for the audience. It's like a little like you know foreshadowing, like maybe something will happen.
Maybe.
But yeah, so and we did have Mary sharing her story at Ascension Day.
Yeah.
During that scene also where they're in bed, it occurred to me, this is, and it's not even technically on TV, it's online, but this is like the most diverse show on TV. Have you noticed? Like they've covered, I feel like, every ethnicity. I don't think Hispanic.
It
That's
is
maybe the
pretty
only
diverse.
ethnicity we haven't
Yeah.
seen, but it's really diverse, and they
pretty
haven't like
diverse,
even
yeah.
addressed it as oh, look, like the white guy's married to the Asian wife. And I mean, like,
Right.
they just, it's so accepted, which I think is great. So I kind of felt like, shout out to them for really, like, jumping on the diversity bandwagon.
For sure.
I mean, they really have it covered.
They do.
Yeah, I like that, and it gives more emphasis on like this is more of a religion issue. You know? This isn't like a related to like any sort of race or particular. Yeah, that's true. I didn't think of that. Okay, so going back to Mary, she tells her story at Ascension Day, and it obviously affects Detective Sam.
I was gonna say we haven't talked about him at all yet.
Finally,
we weren't
he
sure if he
knows
knew
the backstory.
And now we know he knows. So Sam knows, and he's obviously, very moved by it. We also see him back home where he's studying the ladder. I like that moment where he's with his wife, kind of reading through it, and she's like, "What are you doing?" She's another normal person on the outside. I like her.
But he's normal too. I feel like.
He's normal too. But I don't know.
I kind of have a feeling.
What's going on with that baby?
I know, that's really sad. I don't know what's happening.
And
I
I think that's going to have to do with all of this.
So if he's okay, this is like a total far-fetched prediction. I'm sorry, I'm gonna
go for it. I love it.
Like if the daughter ends up being sick in some way, and like he starts to connect with the Maiarism, and oh my gosh, okay, we're on.
Yeah, I think so too, because why else would they suddenly bring this up? Like, I believe you, something's wrong, we're going to a specialist.
Yeah, it'll definitely play a big role.
And what was wrong? The baby was just crying. Like,
they'll make it something.
I mean, clearly something, but I mean, like, they didn't make it clear enough, I guess, what seemed to be the problem.
Right.
I thought. I mean, the baby just looked like it was crying.
So then does the baby also get juice, or is that against...
I would hope not.
Like an age for that?
I bet it's 16 because Hawk has to stay in school, right? He said he can't start anything until he's 16.
That's true.
So
I
they
bet
do
it's
have like an
16.
adult bar mitzvah sort of.
That's true. Yeah, they do. Wow.
I like
Which
that.
also might be because legally he has to stay in school and can't drop out till he's 16. So maybe that's just their way of
keep
But
the
I mean, they
cops
could have
away.
homeschooled him, right? Because they were mentioning he could have been homeschooled, right?
I think that was an option.
But they wanted to like keep him like normal or whatever.
Yeah,
I don't know, whatever.
But you're right. I guess if he'd been homeschooled, he could have graduated early and then he could have started. So yeah, I don't know.
But yeah, so it'd be interesting to see what happens with the baby. I totally think the specialist will end up being Cal or whoever. Or
No, I think they're going to see a real doctor.
really?
I just think it's going to play into his faith in like some kind of way.
Yeah, I totally think
so.
this is going to affect his personal life.
Yeah.
It already seems like, he's moved by things that are happening there, and once you're in it, Cal is very convincing.
Yeah,
he's
he
got
can't
the
get out.
gift.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you never know.
Yeah.
Okay, so lastly, real quick, we kind of started talking about him, but Hawk.
Yeah.
We got a little more of Hawk and Ashley this episode.
I don't know how I feel about them.
Me too. Thank you. For some reason, this is, obviously it's the last relationship I'm covering, but I'm just not super into that whole storyline for some reason.
Something about her that's not right to me.
Yeah.
I don't know what her intentions are, and I don't know what her situation is at home. Something's just off.
Yeah, exactly. Girl, where are your other friends? You're
Like,
pretty.
it's
you're
just weird.
Why is she going for him?
Right, exactly.
And you're right, there's something off about everything, and it's almost like everyone else, I feel like, exists behind this sort of filter. They all have these strange relationships. She doesn't. It's almost like she doesn't belong, and I don't know if it's her as the actress or her as the character. I don't know. But she's not, like, behind that same filter that everyone else is. And so, yeah, I don't know, I agree. There's something strange that I'm not into as much with their relationship.
And maybe it'll grow on me. You know, things like that happen all the time with new series. And it's like, this is weird. But then later on, it's like, oh, well, that's fine.
Right.
Who knows? But I don't know. Something is off with her.
And I like her individually. Like, I think her character and, like, the actress are good individually. It's just when she's in the rest of it, I don't
with
feel
Hawk
the
and
same
everything.
way.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I totally agree. I feel like she's trying. It's weird because I would think that I would be really happy about someone trying to show him the rest of the world and take him out. But for some reason, I don't like it. I don't know what it is. I feel guilty. I'm not sure what that is. But she takes him to lunch. They have some cheese fries or something.
And I think she wasn't eating because she couldn't afford food.
Yeah, that's what I got too.
Did you get that?
Yeah.
Because she makes that point of saying, like, I didn't eat, and he says, I know,
I noticed,
so eat this.
blah,
Or
blah.
no, she says, I'm eating too many of these.
Right.
And he says,
and
well,
he's like, you didn't eat this and you didn't eat that.
Yeah.
I'm stalking you. Is that what's happening?
Basically.
I wait for you for the shower. I watch you not eat. I just spent a lot of time there, Hawk. Watching you like a hawk in the sky.
Weren't they in a weird relationship, or excuse me, a weird restaurant for high schoolers? Like at first, when I think they were going to Matthews, what was written on her note was the name of the place, and I expected, I guess, like a McDonald's, but this was a sit-down restaurant.
It was
like
a pretty nice.
It was
a
a date.
nicer,
And she
feeling
suggested it, so
It was just an
she
odd
wanted
place.
some nice food.
But then they got
And
cheese
she wanted
fries.
some nice something else too.
I don't know.
She wants some.
We don't know.
The restaurant just felt off to me. The set.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like it should have been more of a low key McDonald's.
I love the things you notice. I don't notice those things at all.
I mean, anyone else out there to believe me that high schoolers wouldn't have been at that restaurant?
The best cheese fries in town.
Yeah, apparently. But yeah, so they do talk about music, how he's not allowed to listen to, like, you know, new, obviously can't have some great gangster rap going on, like, you know, and she gives him an iPod and she's kind of introducing him to music, and she invites him to a party, which he eventually goes to. Dang, surprise. And we noticed that Joy, which is his cousin.
I think they're first cousins.
Yeah, I think it's his cousin. Okay. Joy notices them, you know, interacting, and she confronts him, and, you know, she asks if they kissed, and he lies. He lies to her, and he's like, nope. And then goes to the party and then kisses her again. Yeah. So yeah, so
I think he's straight.
Hawk is
I think he's on
transgression.
Know, the
what is that, a 2?
away,
Is that a transgress too? Because it's kissing.
Oh yeah.
First base.
Yeah. Something's gonna happen with him, and I think it's gonna have a big impact with his family.
And I'm sorry.
What?
I'm so glad talking about that kiss. It occurred to me when I was watching. Did you guys think for a first kiss? Presumably this is his first kiss.
He was pretty good.
Really good kisser.
Oh yeah. He figured it out quick.
That was not my first kiss at all. My first kiss was awkward.
Yeah.
And I was like, whoa.
Yeah, that was definitely an experienced first kiss.
He's a Scorpio. He knows what he's doing.
He'd been practicing with his hand or something.
Right, I know, right? I'm doing a little cow. Oh my god. I know.
My whole joke is girls kiss their hands for practice.
Oh my god. Alright, so I mean, I guess that's pretty much it. We
Yeah.
covered most of it. Do we have any predictions for anything else that's going on?
Let's see,
Your
prediction.
AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Thank you.
We get that great soundbite.
And we talked about Miranda. We probably won't see her back again.
don't think
Freddie,
so.
what do we think about Freddie?
He's coming back.
Yeah, obviously.
Coming back,
And
yeah.
he'll be here.
I think Allison will be back.
Yes.
So
So we think Eddie's gonna stray a little more.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think so.
we think, I'm thinking maybe Cal pushing so hard, you know, in his lessons or whatever,
yeah,
trying to get
something
Eddie to
in the
7R.
7R is gonna
Not
be
work with
intense.
Eddie.
Yeah.
You guys, what is going on with that whole dig until you discover something?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Like
Right?
a body. I mean, I know he means in his head, but I
know,
just
yeah.
not like
Yeah.
dig into
Until
a
you
treasure
fit.
chest.
Yeah.
Until you fit.
Until you fit in there. So about this long.
So then I can
Yeah.
take Sarah and your family.
Yeah,
We
right?
can live happily ever
Done.
after.
You're making this real easy. All right, guys. So that's pretty much it. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Thanks for liking our video. I think we got like 12 likes, so a couple more than last week.
Thumbs up.
Thank you guys so much. Join us next week. We'll be here again 9 o'clock. I won't be here, but these two lovely ladies will be with you guys. So 9 p.m. next Wednesday. Thanks, guys. See you then.
Bye-bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.